You know, there are moments in life when you stand at the edge of something bigger than yourself. You can feel it deep inside, that pull, that whisper, that unexplainable urge telling you there's more for you out there. But then the doubt creeps in, the uncertainty, the fear, the voice that says, you don't know how. And maybe you don't, but here's what separates those who create their destiny from those who only dream of it. They don't wait to know how, they decide they will. You see, every great achievement, every breakthrough, every life transformed began with a simple decision. A decision made in faith, not in certainty. A decision that said, I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm not waiting for them to begin. Because the truth is, clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. You might not know how to start that business. You might not know how to heal that pain. You might not know how to rebuild your life after everything fell apart. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is that deep, unshakable commitment that says, no matter what it takes, I will find a way. When you operate from that state of mind, you awaken something powerful within you, a force that has been there all along, waiting for you to claim it. Because the moment you say, I will, you're no longer hoping, you're no longer wishing. You're commanding your life to move forward. Life doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. It responds to the person who takes one more step when they can't see the path. The one who keeps going when the world says it's over. The one who believes that something greater is shaping them, even in the struggle. Every storm, every setback, every moment of confusion, it's not there to stop you. It's there to forge you, to make you stronger, to teach you what you need to know to become who you were meant to be. Because sometimes the how only reveals itself after you've refused to quit. Think about it. Every time in your life when you've achieved something extraordinary, didn't it start with uncertainty? Didn't it begin with you saying, I have no idea how this is going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway? And somehow, step by step, piece by piece, the path unfolded. The people showed up. The opportunities appeared. The strength within you grew. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's life responding to your certainty. That's the universe aligning with your determination. Because when you commit fully, when you stop giving yourself an out, life gives you a way. So stop waiting to know how. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect certainty. Start with what you have right now. Start with your hunger. Start with your belief. Start with that tiny spark that says, I don't know how, but I will. And when it gets hard, because it will remind yourself that growth doesn't happen in comfort. Progress doesn't happen in certainty. The most powerful version of you is born in the middle of chaos, fear, and doubt. That's where the magic happens. So today, make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. Decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, you're not backing down. Decide that this is the moment you draw the line and say, enough. I'm done letting fear run the show. Because the truth is, you don't need to know how. You just need to know why, and if your why is powerful enough, the how will reveal itself along the way. So stand tall, look at the road ahead, feel that uncertainty and move anyway. Speak those words with conviction. I don't know how, but I will. Say it until it becomes your truth. Live it until it becomes your reality. And one day, when you look back, you'll smile because you'll realize that not knowing how was the greatest gift you ever had. It forced you to grow, to believe, to rise. You may not know how right now, but you will. Every great journey begins not with a perfect plan, but with a single decision. A decision made in uncertainty, in faith, in the face of fear. Most people wait for clarity before they act. They wait to see the path, to understand every step, to be sure they won't fail. But clarity doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. The moment you decide to move, even when you don't have all the answers, the world starts to rearrange itself around your decision. It's like stepping into a fog. You can't see the end, but when you take one step forward, the next few feet reveal themselves. That's how life works. You don't get the whole map at once. You earn it through movement, through faith, through persistence when you wait for clarity before taking action, you end up stuck in hesitation. You start overthinking, doubting, analyzing every possibility until fear takes over. But when you make a real decision, one that cuts off all other options, something inside you shifts. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "How will I?" That question pulls you forward. It engages your creativity, your resourcefulness, your inner drive. Suddenly, the same uncertainty that once paralyzed you becomes your greatest motivator, because now you've decided that no matter what, you're going to find a way. The truth is, nobody has it all figured out when they start. The people who seem confident, successful, unstoppable, they began just like you, unsure of the outcome but committed to the journey. They didn't wait for the perfect timing or the perfect opportunity. They created it. They took messy action. They failed. They learned. They adjusted. And that's where clarity was born, in the doing, not the waiting. Every mistake taught them something. Every setback revealed a piece of the puzzle. Every step forward made the next one clearer. When you act first, you tap into your intuition, your instinct, your natural intelligence. You start to notice patterns, possibilities, and opportunities that you couldn't see before. That's because motion creates momentum. Once you're in motion, energy flows, ideas come, and confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you know everything, but because you've proven that you can handle whatever comes. That's how real confidence is built, through experience. Not theory. The people who change their lives are the ones who decide first and figure it out later. They don't let fear of the unknown hold them back. They understand that the path only becomes visible once you start walking it. They embrace the discomfort of not knowing because they know that's where growth lies. Every step, no matter how small, brings new insight, new awareness, new direction. And soon, what once felt impossible starts to make sense. What once felt unclear starts to feel natural. The fog begins to lift, not because the world changed, but because you did. You became the kind of person who acts despite uncertainty, who decides before knowing how, who trusts that clarity is earned only by those who move. Certainty isn't about having all the answers, it's about making a decision so strong that nothing can shake it. Most people confuse certainty with knowledge. They think that if they knew exactly how things would unfold, then they'd feel confident enough to act. But real certainty isn't logical, it's emotional. It's a state of absolute conviction that says, "I don't know how this will happen, but I know it will." That inner decision, that unwavering commitment, is what gives birth to progress, not the plan itself. When you decide you will, your mind stops wasting energy on doubt and starts focusing on possibilities. You begin to see options that didn't exist before, simply because your focus has shifted from fear to determination. When you live from the mindset of certainty, you start to operate differently. You move with purpose, you speak with conviction, and you act with a level of confidence that draws things toward you. Opportunities respond to certainty because energy follows focus. When you're clear about your intention and refuse to entertain doubt, you naturally attract the people, ideas, and resources that align with your decision. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about owning your direction so deeply that even when things fall apart, you keep moving. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers need proof before they start. The doers create the proof through action. There's power in saying, "I will." It's simple, but it changes everything. The moment you decide you will, something inside you ignites. You stop waiting for permission or the perfect timing. You stop looking for guarantees. Instead, you start acting like the person who already has what they want. You speak differently, you think differently, and you make choices from a higher standard. That's how transformation begins, not when circumstances change, but when your identity shifts. When you stop saying, I hope, or I'll try, and start declaring, I will, you create a level of certainty that nothing outside you can break. Life always tests that certainty. You'll face resistance, doubt, and moments when it feels like you made the wrong choice. But that's where true power comes in. Certainty isn't about avoiding fear. It's about moving forward despite it. It's about trusting that even when you don't know how, you'll find a way. Every time you refuse to back down, you strengthen that muscle of certainty. It becomes a part of who you are. It's not arrogance, it's alignment with your purpose, your vision, and your belief that you were made for more. When you live with that kind of conviction, the world responds differently. People feel it. They believe in you because you believe in yourself. Doors start opening, not because luck changed, but because your energy did. You stopped sending mixed signals to the universe. You stopped hesitating. You decided, and when you decide with absolute certainty that you will, the how starts to reveal itself step by step as you walk the path you once thought was impossible. Growth never happens when everything feels safe and predictable. It happens in the unknown, in the discomfort, in the moments when you're stretched beyond what you think you can handle. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid uncertainty, clinging to what's familiar because it feels safe. But safety doesn't create transformation. Comfort doesn't build strength. The only way to grow is to step into the space where you don't have all the answers, where you might fail, where you might fall, but where you'll also rise stronger than ever before. The truth is, the people who grow the most aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're the ones who are willing to feel the fear and move anyway. When you step into uncertainty, something powerful happens inside you. You awaken parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. You discover courage that was hidden beneath hesitation. You find resilience that only appears when you're tested. Growth demands that you leave behind the comfort of what you know and enter the chaos of what you don't. It's not supposed to feel easy. Growth isn't meant to be smooth or convenient. It's meant to challenge you, to push you, to shape you into the person who can handle the next level of life. If you keep running from discomfort, you keep running from your own potential. The same walls that keep you safe also keep you small when you're uncomfortable, when life feels uncertain. That's not a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're evolving. It means you're outgrowing your old limits. Every time you step into something new, your mind resists because it's wired to protect you. It whispers, go back to what's familiar. But familiarity is the enemy of progress. You can't discover new strength while staying in old patterns. The very thing you're afraid of, the unknown, is the only thing that can make you stronger. Every breakthrough is born from a breakdown, every victory from a struggle, every new version of yourself from a period of uncertainty. The key is to change how you see discomfort. Instead of running from it, embrace it as proof that you're on the right path. If it's uncomfortable, it's stretching you. If it's uncertain, it's preparing you. The people who grow the fastest are the ones who learn to dance with the unknown. They stop seeing fear as a stop sign and start seeing it as a signal to move. Because fear isn't the enemy, it's a compass. It points directly toward the places that hold your greatest potential. Growth begins the moment you stop letting fear decide your future and start trusting that every challenge is carving you into who you were meant to become. When you learn to lean into uncertainty, life opens up. You stop living from survival and start living from expansion. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if it does? You begin to realize that the pain, the pressure, the confusion, all of it is working for you, not against you. Because in the end, it's not the comfort that defines you. It's what you do when everything feels uncertain, when you keep going even though you can't see the finish line, when you trust that the struggle is the birthplace of your strength. Your why is the driving force behind everything you do. It's the fire that keeps you moving when the path gets dark, when the challenges feel unbearable, when the odds seem impossible. Most people focus on the how. They obsess over strategies, methods, and plans. But the truth is, the how will never sustain you when life hits hard. The how changes, the how evolves, the how often fails. What stays constant is your why, that deep emotional reason behind your actions. When your why is powerful enough, you can face any obstacle, overcome any fear, and endure any setback because you're no longer chasing convenience. You're fighting for meaning. The why is what gives your struggle a purpose. Without it, every obstacle feels like a reason to quit. With it, every obstacle becomes fuel to grow stronger. People give up not because the goal is impossible, but because their reason isn't strong enough. When your reason is weak, every difficulty feels like a wall. But when your reason burns in your heart, those same walls turn into stepping stones. Your why doesn't just push you forward, it defines who you become in the process. It gives direction to your chaos, structure to your pain, and meaning to your journey. It transforms effort into passion, confusion into clarity, and hardship into growth when you connect to your why. You unlock a different level of strength. You stop needing external motivation because the fire is already burning inside you. You don't need someone to push you. You're driven from within. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't the ones with the best opportunities or the easiest paths. They're the ones who refuse to forget why they started. They hold their why so close to their heart that even when they fall, they rise faster. They remember that what they're doing isn't just about success. It's about purpose, about contribution, about becoming more than they were yesterday. Your why gives you emotional endurance. It's what keeps you steady when life tests you, when nothing seems to work, when you feel like giving up. It reminds you that pain is temporary, but purpose is permanent. Every challenge becomes a chance to prove your commitment. Every setback becomes a reminder of how much this dream means to you. When you live from your why, you stop reacting to circumstances and start responding with intention. You stop letting fear dictate your actions because your reason is bigger than your excuses. That's when real transformation happens, when your heart becomes stronger than your doubts. If you ever feel lost or unmotivated, it's not because you've lost your ability. It's because you've lost connection to your why. The moment you reconnect with it, everything changes. Energy returns, focus sharpens, courage grows. The how begins to reveal itself naturally because the drive behind it is pure and unstoppable. So instead of asking, "How will I do it?" start asking, "Why must I do it?" That question shifts your entire perspective. It gives your actions meaning. It fuels your persistence. It reminds you that no matter how uncertain things seem, your why will always carry you through the storm. Life doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to commitment. Every moment you hesitate, doubt, or delay, you send a signal to life that you're uncertain, that you're not ready, that you don't truly mean what you say you want. But the moment you commit fully, when you decide with absolute certainty that you will make it happen, everything begins to shift. The energy changes, opportunities align, people appear, doors open, and momentum builds. It's not magic, it's the power of unwavering commitment. The universe rewards those who move with conviction, not those who sit on the fence waiting for sign. When you commit with your whole being, you stop negotiating with fear and start creating your own path. Commitment means there's no plan B, no backdoor, no exit strategy. It's when you burn the boats and say, "I'm not leaving until I win." That level of certainty changes everything because it eliminates hesitation. It removes the mental space for doubt. It forces your mind to focus only on solutions, not excuses. When you're halfway in, you leave room for fear to whisper its lies. But when you're all in, fear has no power. Commitment silences hesitation because you're no longer asking if it's possible. You've already decided it is. That decision alone creates momentum. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start making progress with what you have. Life tests the depth of your commitment. It throws obstacles, setbacks, and uncertainty your way, not to break you, but to see how serious you really are. The moment you show that your unshakable life starts to cooperate, it begins to match your energy. That's when breakthroughs happen, not when things are easy, but when you refuse to quit even when they're not. People who succeed aren't luckier or more talented. They're just more committed. They don't leave room for hesitation. They decide, they act, they adjust, and they keep going until the goal becomes reality. They understand that commitment doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. When you commit fully, you tap into a higher level of power within yourself. You stop being reactive and start being creative. You find strength you didn't know you had. You begin to trust your instincts, your decisions, and your ability to figure things out. That's when fear loses control over you, because your focus shifts from what if it doesn't work to what must I do to make it work. Commitment builds resilience. It transforms you into someone who doesn't need guarantees, because you know you'll create your own outcomes through sheer will and determination. That kind of mindset is unstoppable. Hesitation kills dreams because it keeps you stuck in indecision. Commitment builds dreams because it demands progress. Every time you hesitate, opportunities fade. Every time you commit, momentum grows. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You just need to decide you're not turning back. When you move with that level of certainty, life bends to meet you halfway. It gives you what you've earned through your decision to stay the course, no matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times it hurts, no matter how uncertain the path may seem.